So, the Ascent-32, a pretty awesome little car. I've been playing with this thing for a few months now. I got it back around Thanksgiving and just kept tinkering with it, so I never felt like putting out a video on it until I was done with it. I'm still not, but I was taking it everywhere until these little things came out, which have been quite a distraction. But this thing holds its weight. So watch my little journal. So I'm sure you've seen a ton of videos about this little truck, but I'm going to put together a list of some of my free weird upgrades, free or cheap, stuff you might have lying around. So this is a stock shock. Here's a stock SCX24 shock. I'm going to be replacing the shaft with a longer one so I can put the internal spring and still have enough travel, even more travel. And since these tires are not glued, a really easy way to add some cheap free weight up front is just pop them right in the tires, right in the wheels. So I've added about 4.5 grams to each side. And then we got this little optional battery tray in the back, 4 screws. And I trimmed just about a little over 1 millimeter off the body there. You can barely tell, but it does keep it from hanging down past the slider there. So All right, so we got the Injora brass steering knuckles as well as the brass diff cover, and I normally don't run brass diff covers on the rear, but this guy was really falling forward going downhill, so I did want to add a little bit more weight in the back if I was going to be adding even more weight to the front. So I trimmed a staple to replace this lost pin since I don't have any replacements this small. I have not seen any good wheel and tire upgrades for this thing. It's got the smaller hex. I've seen people get hex adapters to put bigger tires on here. These are the smallest tires I have laying around. They're from the SCX24 C10. They're the stock tires that come with that. They're still, I think they look kind of goofy on here, too big. They're just way too big for this body and the scale. And if anything, I would maybe want slightly smaller tires. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any room to have a positive offset to kind of narrow the car a little bit. But if anybody has seen better options to replace these, I think I like the size. I just love something a little bit softer and grippier. If anybody's seen something out there that makes a good replacement, drop a link in the description, or at least the name, so I can try to search for it, because I feel like some slightly better tires would make a big upgrade. So, we're going on a little adventure, looking for some places to trail with and climb the Ascent-32 here and the SCX30. Just kind of do a little side-by-side comparison in nature. I know everybody loves the 30, and this Ascent-32 is pretty controversial and not widely loved, but let's just say I wouldn't be able to walk the dog with the SCX30 because that thing's so dang slow. But what do you think, Penny? You like this one? Hey Penny, you wanna help me roll these over or get them unstuck? So that guy was kind of wedged. Excuse me. So you can see that running pretty much the same lines with both of those trucks. They're both pretty equally capable, just the SCX30 is a lot smoother, a lot smoother. The Ascent-32 might climb just a little bit better, but it's really hard to control. That slow speed modulation is non-existent. Alright, let's find another spot to crawl these guys. Let's back up there. Hey Penny, get back. Get back, baby. Good girl. An old refrigerator. Wonder how long this has been here. Well, sometimes those bigger wheels make a big difference. So I'm pretty happy that I'm able to carry both of these cars in a little shoulder bag like this. So when it's all said and done, I really like that this thing is really standard compared to, you know, a 18th scale or 10th scale crawler, similar layout. It makes it kind of easy to tinker with, you know, making some kind of custom fabricated parts and stuff, even though there's not a huge aftermarket. I did go back and add some, actually some Vaseline into the rear shocks. It does make it a little less bouncy. It's still pretty bouncy. I also trimmed a little bit of these springs off, like about 2 or 3 coils worth, so it just sits a little bit lower in the back since I have the front pulled all the way down. I also stretched out the springs that I had in the front just so they start pulling a little higher up. It doesn't have so much slack. It has a more even spring to it. Also, this little clip in the back breaks very easily, but you can just use a standard small body clip and it just goes right around that screw and holds on there fine. You know, not a big deal. It works pretty well. Pretty easy to deal with. And then a quick little easy mod I figured out is, so if you take off the front bumper, and especially if you trim down these little nubs where the bumper was screwed into, it makes room to just clip the body up underneath the upper portion of this thing here. So it lowers it a few millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters or so. So it gets that body a little bit lower in the front. And without the bumper, you still don't have to worry about clearance. I mean, the tires stick out a little bit further than that front of the body there. I also just trimmed the inside of the truck bed out. I mean, it lightens it up maybe a fraction, but it makes it really easy to access the battery. You can even recharge, pull the battery out and recharge it, all while leaving it in the truck, not even taking the body off, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it's a cool little truck. Actually, if it wasn't for these guys taking over, I'd be playing with this thing all the time still. I was actually thinking about potentially throwing this Coyote body on here. It could look kind of cool, especially if you trimmed the frame a little bit. I think it would fit on there and just almost look like a little monster truck. You end up with a gap there, but I think you could probably modify the sliders there to make that look pretty badass. But I ended up buying a Bronco just to put the Coyote on there. I love this limited edition paint job, so I couldn't resist, and I kept the stickers on it kind of minimal. Just a little I don't know, kind of focus, little Desert Bros sticker in the back there, which you can buy from the California Worldwide website. Anyways, that's it for the Ascent-32. It's a badass little truck. It's more of a better trail truck than these guys, but the slow crawl is terrible. I would love to see somebody like Injora, listen up, I'd love to see somebody like Injora make like a gear set that just gears it way down, gives it way more torque and slows it down a little bit. You know, you wouldn't be able to trail with it so much, but I think it would give it a lot more control and, you know, better shocks. I would love to see, you know, if they maybe did like an Apex 32 or something where they just took all the corrections that should have been made to this thing. You know, they have the capability to do it. We've seen it in their larger scale stuff. So It's a fun thing to play with. I would recommend it, but I'd probably recommend an SCX30 first. If you got $100, you know, this is $80. It's not that much more to get one of these, so it's really up to you. But it's a cool little truck. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.